The amount of modes that exist is massive. The Guitar Grimoire has 14 different scales that are built using 7 notes. This gives us a whopping 98 different modes. Each mode gives us unique interval combinations we can use. Because of this, the amount of chords we can actually play are seemingly endless. During a live stream, we watched a video using a very useful scale pattern that helps us locate the notes used in every major and minor key, along with the basic major, minor, and diminished chords you can play using bar chords. In the second half of that stream, I discussed how each mode that comes from the major scale can be used to create more than just your basic chords, and how nobody could possibly know every single chord that exists. The rest of this video is that second half of the stream edited down. So the chords he talked about were basically the first, third, and fifth note of, we could say each mode here, because that's what he's talking about. Like, so you get to 1, 3, and 5. So if you're looking at your C major scale, I said I'm not going to get into much detail, so I need to stay focused here. You got, so there's your major chord here. We'll just look at the key of C. So you C major, Lydian mode, which is the fourth mode, has a 1, 3, and 5 as well. So F major, Mixolydian has a 1, well they all have a 1, but 3 and a 5. So G major there. So yep, C, F, and G major, right? Because the Ionian, Lydian, and Mixolydian have a first, third, and fifth. That's it. None of the other modes do. So we have different things that happen. So keep that in mind. Different things that happen. So the Dorian, Phrygian, and Aeolian, those 3 modes have a first, minor third, and 5. 1, flat 3, 5. 1, flat 3, 5. So in the key of C, D Dorian happens. So we got, again, there's your D minor, E minor for the Phrygian mode, A minor. Okay? And then Locrian is the only mode that has a 1, flat 3, and flat 5. So when you have your first, flat third, and flat 5, or your root note, minor third, diminished fifth, you have your diminished chord. I can play it over here too. So again, looking at the intervals used with each mode there, you see there's more going on than just root third, fifth, or flat third, or flat 5. You have 2s, you have flat 2s, you have a sharp 4 in one point, you got flat 6s, you got flat 7s, natural 7s. So there's a heck of a lot more options happening here. Let's just go in the order I go with students here, okay? So we do suspended chords next, because they're, you know, just taking your triad chords and just taking the 3 and dropping it down or raising it up. Basically, we're replacing the 3 with either the 2 or the 4. But as you see here, not everything can be turned into a suspended second or suspended 4, because look at Phrygian. That has a flat second. You can't have an E suspended second in the key of C. Doesn't exist. You can't have an F suspended 4 in the key of C, because we have a sharp 4. Because Locrian has a flat 5, you cannot have a suspended second or a suspended 4. It's going to be a variation. I mean, the flat 5 hopefully makes that obvious, but you also have a flat 2 to deal with. So like your Ionian mode, you have a major chord. Dorian mode, minor chord. Phrygian, minor. Lydian, you have a major. Mixolydian, you have a major. Aeolian, you have a minor. Locrian, you have diminished. Well, in Ionian, you also have a suspended second. Dorian has a suspended second. Phrygian has a suspended flat second. And man, it's a bitch to hold in this position, but sounds so damn cool to me. Lydian, you have a suspended second. Mixolydian, suspended second. Aeolian, suspended second. Locrian, suspended flat second, flat 5. Suspended 4s now. Ionian, And by the way, suspended second is the first, second, and fifth interval, okay? So if you look here at Ionian, you have your a 1, a 2, and a 5. So every mode that has a 1, 2, and a 5, you can have a suspended second there. And that pattern that was shown in this video we're responding to, that doesn't tell you that. It just tells you what the root notes are. You have to know a hell of a lot more theory to know all kinds of chord combinations, interval combinations, and whatnot. So this is where like modes can really tie into the chords, and chords can tie into the modes because, well, they're all tied in together, right? Intertwined, yeah? So suspended fours is first, fourth, and fifth interval together. So that would be the 1, the 4, and the 5. So what modes have that? The Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Mixolydian, and Aeolian. Lydian doesn't have it. Locrian doesn't have it. So what do we end up having? Ionian, we can have a suspended 4. Dorian, we have a suspended 4. Phrygian, suspended 4. Lydian, this is one of my favorite chords, suspended sharp 4. Right, if you want to have something sound Lydian, I mean, you have to have that sharp 4 in there. Mixolydian has a suspended 4. Aeolian, suspended 4. Locrian has a suspended 4 flat 5. Now, seventh chords. Talking about jazz. A lot of people refer to jazz chords or seventh chords as jazz chords. So I'm not going to be able to just like spread my fingers out for everything for this one. So I'm going to play something a little bit different here. I'm going to basically take this kind of bar chord where we stack the intervals 1, 5, 1, again, 3. I'm going to take that octave of the root note and lower that down. So the voicing we have is 1, 5, 7, 3. So how many modes have this occurring? The Ionian mode, that has a 1, 3, 5, 7. So that's the order of intervals, just to simplify things, that make a major 7. Lydian also has a 1, 3, 5, 7. That's it. Those are the only two positions you can have a major 7 when staying in key. We're not going to talk about going out of key. We're not going to talk about like any weird, interesting, fun things you can do. We're just staying in key and keeping it simple. You can only have 2 major 7s in a major key, as long as you're staying in key and being very strict about that. You can play any major 7 you want all over the place for, you know, making it sound the way you want it to sound. But anyway, we're just talking about what's in key here. Now you look at the next mode, Dorian. We're skipping every other note here. So you have the root, flat third, 5, and flat 7. So 1, flat 3, 5, and flat 7, that is a minor 7 chord. And Dorian, Phrygian, and Aeolian, all three, you can make those minor 7. So Dorian, Phrygian, Aeolian, we're down here. Got your minor 7 chords. Mixolydian, very special one. It's the 5th mode. And we had a major chord that happened there. But now we have a major chord plus the flat 7, or minor 7, which creates a dominant 7 chord. So 5th position, we have a dominant 7. And then Locrian, you got the diminished chord plus a flat 7. So 2 names I learned. You have either a minor 7 flat 5 or half diminished 7. Why is it half diminished 7? Well, quick answer is a fully diminished 7 has a double flat 7. So you'd have to take that A note in the half diminished 7, the B half diminished 7, and flat that, and then boom, there you go. Now you have a fully B diminished 7, which is not in a major key. Other things going on here, like after this I usually teach people about like 7 suspended chords where you have like a mix of the 7s and suspended chords. So just like you can take the 3rd interval and replace it with a 2 or 4 in your triad chord. When I say triad chord, just very simplified explanation here, it's major, minor, diminished. Also augmented, but augmented does not occur in a major key. You can replace the third interval in a 7th chord, and you can So like instead of having the 1, 3, 5, and 7, you can have a 1, 2, 5, and 7. And then you'd have major 7 sus2. Or you can have a 1, 4, 5, 7 interval, then you'd have a major 7 sus4. And again, looking at the modes here, not every mode has that. Now there's so much more out there. Even like, let's go even further. Like, what about ninth chords? Well, what a ninth chord is, technically, and I'm just simplifying, like if you keep skipping every other notes, you know, you'd have your 1, then the 3, then the 5, then the 7. Well, you'd skip the 1 and land on the 2. 9 is an octave of the 2. So then you got even more stuff there. So you have your 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So you'd have a major 9. So, well, how many other modes have that? Well, let's look at the next major one. So Lydian, you have that. Mixolydian, you don't. You'd have a dominant 9 in the 5th position. And then looking at Dorian, so you would have 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, and then your 2, which in this case 9, so you'd have a minor 9. Well, Phrygian, you can't have that because you have this. It would be minor 7, flat 9. Aeolian, you can have a minor 9 there as well. But see, there's all kinds of combinations you can do there. And you don't have to just skip every other note name either, like a suspended second chord doesn't do that. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. So, you can, again, combine all kinds of stuff there, all kinds of things. So nobody's ever going to know every single possible chord out there. It can't be done. Again, these are just the modes from the major scale. There's more modes when it comes to harmonic minor. There's more when it comes to melodic minor. There's more when it comes to Hungarian minor. Then you got what? Neapolitan major is another scale. Enigmatic minor, I think, is another one. If anyone's seen the Guitar Grimoire, where it has just an insane amount of scales in there, you'll know. I mean, there's just so many possibilities. Like, if you have 10 different exotic scales, and they all have 7 notes, that's 70 modes. 70 modes! And you already have just a ton of combinations right here from the major scale itself in these modes. So yeah, there's no way anyone's ever going to know every single chord. It's not possible. There's just too much stuff out there to learn. Yeah, when it comes to theory, I mean, it can get crazy vast, and you can get so in-depth with all kinds of interval combinations and modes and whatnot. When I learned music theory and all this chord stuff, it exposed me to sounds I never would have come across without doing so. Like one of my favorite ones, and I know this is like an inversion or a voicing of this, as I was taught to call it, the intervals 1, flat 3, 5, flat 6, call it a minor flat 6. And man, just stacking the intervals this way, such an amazing sound to me. So yeah, like every 6th chord is just an inversion or a different voicing of a 7th chord and vice versa. And every suspended 2nd chord is a voicing or inversion of a suspended 4th. 6th chord. So what does that involve? It's going 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 6th interval there. So we got different combinations that can happen. So your Ionian mode. So if I'm going to replace the octave here with the 6th. So Ionian mode, you got a major 6. Your Dorian mode, you have a minor 6, which is very characteristic of Dorian itself. If you use a minor 6 chord, I mean, that's a Dorian sound through and through, because you have the 1st, flat 3rd, and 5, which is the minor chord or minor triad, plus that major 6 with it. Only Dorian has that, so it sounds very Dorian. So go figure. And then Phrygian, there's that sound. The minor flat 6. Lydian has major 6 again. The Mixolydian also has major 6. Aeolian, one of my favorite chord sounds once again. The minor flat 6. And then here we have minor flat 6, flat 5. So I mentioned that your 7th chord and 6th chord, they actually share the same notes. So let's look at my favorite, one of my favorites here, right? The E minor flat 6. Well, what notes make an E minor flat 6? You have E, putting it in order, you have E, G, B, and C. Well, what else uses that? That's a C major 7 chord. C, E, G, B. C, E, G, B. So, a C major 7 has the same 4 notes as an E minor flat 6. But how you stack the notes can create a whole nother sound. So, here's your C major 7. Here's your E minor flat 6. So remember, I'm stacking this thing up. I'm going 1st, 5th, 6th, 3rd. So 1, 5, 6, 3. 1, 5, 6, 3. The 6th interval of the 6th chord is the root note of the 7th chord equivalent. So a C major 6 or C6, same notes as an A minor 7. C6 is an A minor 7. D minor 6 is a B minor 7 flat 5, aka half diminished 7. D minor 6, same notes as B half diminished 7. E minor flat 6, same notes as a C major 7. E minor flat 6 is a C major 7. F6, same notes as a D minor 7. F6 or F major 6 is a D minor 7. G6, E minor 7. G6, E minor 7. A minor flat 6 is just an F major 7. A minor flat 6, F major 7. And just like we said, B minor flat 6 flat 5, G dominant 7. B minor flat 6 flat 5, G dominant 7. So put that in a song. All right. Ending it.